Hey, fun fans, coming up on this week of FRC Roundup, we're going to be taking a look at what the rankings would have been in each World Championship division if the cargo threshold was 30 instead of 20. The discussion on whether all events need to be moved to a round robin format like the Einstein round robin, and an overall look at the Houston Championship experience with exclusive knowledge from our guests from 3175. All of this and more coming up on Season 1, Episode 7 of FRC Roundup.
Your destination for first content, updates, and gaming.
Welcome to the fun.
First Updates Now is supported by Stryker Careers. If you are a college student or recent graduate looking for an incredible internship, take a look at Stryker. Stryker provides a housing stipend, great pay, and an opportunity to work with state-of-the-art medical technology equipment. Discover why so many First alumni are coming to Stryker for their internship or career at careers.stryker.com. First Updates Now is supported by the Milwaukee School of Engineering. MSOE offers week-long summer camps where high school students get to preview college by living on campus, exploring engineering programs, experimenting in labs, meeting with professors, and participating in fun group activities. Are you ready to experience STEM at MSOE? Visit msoe.edu/summer to learn more and register.
All right, thanks for everybody sticking around if you're watching live, and welcome to episode 7. If you have not caught our show previously, this is a new show this year that will continue to be following FRC recap on Monday nights. We'll take a look at the overall previous week and highlight some discussion points about events, strategy, or really anything that may have correlated with the previous week. If you, the fun community, think there's a topic we should discuss on FRC Roundup, please feel free to ping me on the fun Discord, and I'm more than happy to take a look at it. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Nick Mathis, and I am currently in the 1st Michigan region and was previously with Team 4130. My great friend Connor McBride from the New England district, unfortunately, had his flight delayed after a great trip in Houston and is on his way back now. So I have a new co-host with me tonight, and a good friend of mine from Michigan, PJ. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Nick. So about me, for those who don't know, I'm PJ Lewalski. I am a coach for Team 3538, the Robo Jackets, out of Auburn Hills, Michigan. I can also be found refereeing and volunteering in general as well. Our guests tonight are Cooper and Izzy from Team 3175 Night Vision, who are your reigning world champions as of Saturday. And actually, my neighbors down the street, I live about 2 miles away from their school. So after a wild weekend, 3175 was selected to be part of the Galileo winning alliance, along with 1619, 254, and 6672. They go on to win the world championship, play some absolutely stellar defense, which I believe you guys talked about just a few minutes ago in recap.
Yep.
In finals 3. So Cooper, Izzy, why don't you tell us really quickly, just sort of like about what your roles on 3175 are?
I'm Cooper. I'm a senior this year. I'm the design build captain and the driver.
I'm Izzy. I do programming and I'm the operator. Oh, and I'm a sophomore.
All right,
Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. And our first topic tonight is going to be the cargo threshold change. So if you hadn't seen, there was a thread on Chief Delphi posted about what the rankings would have looked like for each division if the cargo threshold had been raised. It was interesting to see that. To be honest with you, I thought there was not a lot of change. There was a couple spots here and there, but I thought it would have been significantly larger than what it really was. So, PJ, we'll kind of start with you. Just want to see if you got a chance to take a look at it and if there's any surprises that popped up to you.
Yeah, I did. And so what I did, I only looked at basically, so I took it and I pulled it up and I looked at basically anybody who was in the top 15, who was no longer in the top 15, or who was out of the top 15 and moved into the top 15. Because beyond rank 15, your rank doesn't matter, right? Realistically, because you're never going to be a captain beyond 15. So what surprised me, because I was the whole weekend, I was like, the cargo, they should have increased it. They should have increased it to 30. That would have made such a big difference because the rankings were all over the place. And then somebody actually showed that it would not have made that big a difference. So I was very surprised. Of the 6 divisions, only 5 of the 6 would have had the same number 1 seed. The only difference was Carver, 870 and 604 would have flopped 1 and 2. So 870 would have been the first seed. Other than that, there's a few changes as you go down. Like, some teams may have ranked 1 spot higher or 1 spot lower. Not really a ton of massive shifts in those top 15 spots. Which, like I said, was very surprising to me because I thought I was convinced that it was going to be a big deal. And I was like, that's why we seeded 39th. It's not why we seeded 39th. Now, it's so now I got to, come to terms with that statement. I don't have an excuse for that anymore. But so that was very surprising to me. Like I said, so I sort of, as a thought experiment, because we were over on Hopper with 35-38, and so I kind of like gamed it out using my knowledge and my scouting data, being like, if these were the rankings, like, would alliance selections have changed much? And the first two alliances I think stay the same, because Citrus even drops farther. They would be fourth instead of third. So I think 1706 still picks Citrus. Citrus doesn't decline. 4499 picks 148, and all that, because like that was not impacted by rankings. Then it might get a little wibbly wobbly after that. But those two were the finalist alliances anyway, so I don't think much of a difference would have been made in the final results. But I guess, and then this is something I was going to kind of throw over to Cooper and Izzy on this topic, is I don't know if that would have changed people's drive strategies, because I know on 35-38, it didn't. We were going for maximum balls every match anyway. It's not like we hit 20 and then stopped. Like I know in regular season, that was kind of the goal. You'd kind of hit 20 and then maybe you'd stop early if you were winning to go make sure you got the climbs and all that. But at Worlds, because that first tiebreaker for ranking was average match score, like we were scoring maximum amount of balls anyway. It didn't matter how many we scored. So I don't know if Cooper and Izzy, I don't know if you have any sort of thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, we would never slow down. I don't think it would have changed our strategy at all. I was actually messing around with that spreadsheet a little bit, trying to figure out like if OPR was a perfect representation of team skill and ranking should be equal to OPR rankings, how much better would it have been, or worse would it have been with a 30 RP threshold? And it actually did get better. It got closer to the RP rankings in the top 15 and overall for every division except Hopper. Hopper's top 15 actually got worse compared to the OPR rankings.
Like, tell you from someone who played on Hopper, like the schedule gods were not kind over in Hopper.
Yeah, and like it wasn't even just you guys, PJ. Like,
well, I mean, 148 was down in the 20s. Citrus
right? Like it was not just like one specific team where we were looking at it and that got nailed with it. I mean, there was 4 or 5 of the top teams in Hopper just had brutal schedules. So. Izzy, I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at it or what you overall thoughts of the cargo threshold staying the same.
Yeah, so with what you said about stopping once you get to 20, I don't think that was our strategy in any matches, especially since a lot of teams there had optimized and sped up their climbs, so they didn't really need the full end game to climb. And it was so important to get high scores at Worlds to win, because the scores were getting crazy at times. So
right, and especially for like speaking to 3175 specifically, because I know like PJ, you're talking like Rochester once we got to 20, backing off a little bit. You guys,
like all the way up to state, right. Rochester, Saline, I'm sure you guys district like 20 was the important number. Then after that, usually at district events, you had one at that point. If you
right. Well, like speaking of 3175 directly, like you guys didn't have a traversal. It only had a mid at Rochester, I believe. So for you guys, it did. You could climb in 5 seconds anyway, so it wasn't really worth it your while to stop scoring at that point. So
yeah, I will say the one thing that may have been impacted if it was higher would have been when we send defense robots, because we can't score 30 cargo in a match, but we can sometimes score 20. So if we were more worried about hitting that ranking point, there may have been times when we played a little bit less defense, but I don't think it would have been like an every match changed thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's definitely true. And also like we would have someone maybe half scoring, half defense, like offensive defense. We may have done that less if we were getting close to the threshold.
Yeah. Right. I think it's almost like I said, I was very surprised by the fact that it did not make as big an impact as people thought.
Yeah, me too. I mean, the biggest step that I saw was like 7 ranks, and I was like, I mean, that's still a decent amount, but
some of like the lower down ones you'll notice had like if you looked at like the teams that like would jump from like 60th to like 50th or like 60th to 40th, but like that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Poll in chat had looking back, should the cargo RP have been 30, and the majority still voted yes. I believe 90%. So
Yeah, we actually would have gone up 7 spots if it was 30.
Oh, okay.
We were 32 and would have gone to 25, which I think is like one of the bigger jumps from the stuff that I'm looking at here. That's like one of the biggest.
Right.
Yeah.
Izzy and Cooper, if it was up to you, what would you have set the RP at pre-champs?
I think it would have been fun to be 30.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy having a robot and being like, oh yeah, we can get this ranking point. You know, you feel a lot better about how you're gonna do going into the competition. But I think
especially
go ahead.
Sorry. Especially like from Rochester all the way to champs. At Rochester, we were a lot more worried about it, and then we started to see that more teams could hit it more easily. So it would have felt a little more like the beginning of the season, probably.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah. So I don't think I wonder if 40 was the number to make it like matter at champs. Like I wonder what it would be with 40.
Interesting.
Not a lot of
I think like that would drastically change some stuff there. But before we go ahead and jump into our topic number 2, we're going to go ahead and bring on Tyler to talk about our wonderful friends from Striker.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Real quick, we're going to actually show a quick video from Striker, talk a little bit more about their culture. But if you're interested in learning more, looking for a great internship at co-op, go ahead to careers.stryker.com.
I love working for Striker.
I'm genuinely excited to come to work every day.
The minute you walk through that door, you know you are part of something special.
We support each other and look out for each other.
I love Striker because we are like a family.
At Striker, I own my career.
There are so many different places Striker can take me in the next 5 years.
Noi crediamo che quello che facciamo è molto importante.
Together,
with our
customers,
we are driven
to make
healthcare better.
Great people with a strong mission and values can accomplish great things together.
All right. Thanks to our friends at Striker again for supporting fun. We're going to go ahead and jump into topic number 2. There was a post on Chief Delphi that started over the weekend about do all events need to move to the round robin format? So again, as most of you are familiar with, in the districts and the district championships, they start off with might have been slightly different this year with some of the one-day events, but even then, I'm still pretty sure they did. They moved straight to semifinals, but they follow this, the regular bracket style of 1 versus 8 and 2 versus 7 and so forth, and meet to a finals. When we move over to the championship, after the division winners have been crowned, we obviously move to a round robin style format where each division plays each other. And I'm going to agree with I believe the original post mentioned that, the round robin is a better way to determine who really the 2 best alliances are, and the way that they have the championship score, or whatever you want to call it, set up. And I personally am totally in favor of moving the round robin format to the districts and regionals, especially at the regional level. I understand possibly the district level keeping it to the normal bracket style, but for the regional level, and with being champ slots directly allocated at the regional level, it might be an interesting thing to really determine who really the 2 best alliances are. Because oftentimes, I know specifically in DTE, PJ, the 7th alliance was probably the 2nd or 3rd best alliance in DTE, and unfortunately had to face you guys in the SEMs, but I personally think they might have beat the number 4 alliance too, actually. So PJ, we'll go ahead and start with you, and then move over to Cooper and Izzy.
Yeah, I think my one qualm with going to a round robin at first in the district system was that you lose a bunch of district points.
Oh, true.
Because normally it's 10 points for each level. Like, if you make it to semis, that's 10 district points. Make it to finals, that's 10. If you win, that's another 10. So, but then I thought about it, and I was like, well, if everybody's doing it, then it's not like, like those points, it's a wash, because those points just no longer exist for anyone. So it doesn't super matter. But I think you just have to figure out a way to assign points to the round robin. Because maybe if it's like
if you place 3rd in the round robin, you get 10 district points or something like that.
Something like that. But that would be I'm sure there's a way to balance that out and have the math work. But that was my one qualm when I first read it, and I thought about it more. I did like the suggestion of doing then only 6 alliances, just because 8 alliances in a round robin is a lot of
It's a lot of matches.
It's a lot of
Pushes it to
matches.
21 matches, right? Just for the round robin.
Yeah. So I think the suggestion was going to 6, but you draft your own backup like you do at Champ. So it's still 24 teams making it to eliminations. Which I give or take on that. I don't think drafting your own backup super matters either way.
No.
If you want 24 teams, fine. If everybody decides that that's fine, like without 24 teams, cool. But so I think it'd be interesting. I've never had experience playing in a round robin style, so that's why we're going to throw it over to Cooper and Izzy, because they've just went through the gauntlet of it. So I don't know how much more stress that adds to you or things like that. But I'd love to try it at an off season or something. Maybe try one of the Michigan off seasons. Maybe we can try it and just see what it looks like.
I guess the question I'll prop to Cooper and Izzy is specifically, like, obviously your strategy from the round robin to the finals like drastically changed because you had to worry about the tiebreaker. So I don't know if one of you want to take us through kind of the strategy discussion after you guys made it out of Galileo and what that kind of looked like.
Yeah, I'll just say that the tiebreak, if you're doing a round robin for a normal tournament, what the tiebreaker is super important. Because like this year, like you just said, we made match strategies based on a tiebreaker. And a suggestion that I saw in that thread that I thought was good was that the tiebreaker is what happened in your head-to-head match.
Yeah,
I think
I
that's
like
probably
that
a better way to do it. And then I also saw, I think it was in that thread. I don't know where else it would have been. Somebody that said, like, if you do like 3 district points per round robin win, you sort of get somewhere close to the same number of points.
Okay.
Which is just similar to what PJ was talking about. But I thought the round robin was fun. I thought it was probably a better way to find the best alliance.
Yeah, exactly what Cooper said. I completely agree with that. It's definitely, it gives more opportunities to all the alliances. And I did think that was a cool idea, like with 3 district points per win, and then the head-to-head being the tiebreaker. So.
Yeah, I think one thing for me too is, especially at Champs, and nothing against Roebling by any means, but I think Roebling was probably the weakest alliance that was there. So if you have, say, Galileo on one side of the bracket where they predetermined it, like Michigan State Champs, where like one field plays one field in the semis, the other field plays the other field, regardless of what the divisions look like, you could have an alliance like Galileo that has a sleeper side of a bracket till they get to the finals, and then you get, say, like Carver and Newton, who's got to play, Hopper and Turing and all of that. So they have a significantly more difficult ride to the finals there. So I think the round robin does a good job of that overall. But
the one thing I dislike about the round robin is in that last round, like sometimes like those last 2 matches don't matter or whatever. Like I think that was the case. One of the last couple matches just didn't matter.
It was the last one, but if you're playing on the field, you're still going to play your heart out. I mean, it's boring to us as spectators, but the teams are going to still play.
Yeah, and that happened in 2018 too, where the last 2 matches didn't matter because we knew who was going to Ford Field at that point. But yeah, I think like Tyler said, you're going to play your heart out no matter what. But it is a little bit.
And in a district system, hypothetically at a district or a state championship, if there are points tied to that final ranking, then the match will always matter. So that will alleviate some of that.
Right. Any last thoughts to add on this topic? Okay, before we jump into our final topic, we're going to bring Tyler back on to talk about Fun's new sponsor, Milwaukee School of Engineering. And for those watching live, to start a giveaway from Rev Robotics. And it's a big one tonight, my friends.
Sorry, yes, it is. Let's start the giveaway first from Rev Robotics. Celebrating the new release of Rev Ion and Rev Duo. If you weren't at championships, man, they were everywhere. Rev is giving away a $100 gift card today for you to spend at Rev. So once again, if you win, please shoot me your name and email so we can get that out to you. But the keyword is going to be ION, I-O-N. ION is the keyword. Don't forget you need to be following, and subscribers get extra luck. Good luck, everybody. It's going to be a little while till we draw for this, but we want to get it out as soon as possible. $100 gift card. Go check out the new Rev products. Over 300 on Reb's website. Go check it out. And also, big shout out to our new sponsor, by the way, Milwaukee School of Engineering, who is doing some awesome summer camps. If you are looking at getting into engineering at all, take a look at the Milwaukee School of Engineering, running week-long camps starting at June 26th and going for 3 weeks with a little break in between. There's a bunch of different summer programs you can take a look at, including a Women in Technology one for a week, other ones where you can meet professors at MSOE, learn more about what Milwaukee School of Engineering has to offer, and of course, get a great exploration into the 9 STEM fields that the Milwaukee School of Engineering has to offer. So if you're interested in more, go ahead and check them out, msoe.edu/summer. Registrations are filling up decently quickly, so I think they're going to probably fill up in the next month or so. So if this is something of interest to you, you want to get a great experience on what STEM might have to offer, especially if you're a junior or senior in high school as well too. You do have to have a pretty good GPA, so you're looking for some of the top students to go there. Go check them out, msoe.edu/summer.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyler, and thanks to our friends from the Milwaukee School of Engineering. So we're going to go ahead and get into the big topic tonight, topic 3. We're going to be discussing an overall Houston championship experience with some insight from our friends from 3175. I do just want to take a second. I'm going to toot my own horn here for a second. I've been talking about you guys since I saw you at Rochester. Easily the best robot that 3175 has ever built. And not only, even when I did the behind the bumpers with you two at Macomb, it's a very simple robot. There is, not a ton to it, but I think what really sets you, your team apart, and specifically to Izzy, is your guys' software. The path planner that you were able to put together this year with your whack auto or whatever you want to call it that goes through the hanger. It's something else. And I was able to preview the Galileo division, and I did have 3175 as a dark horse, and another world champ. So pat myself on the back a little bit for that one, but Izzy, Cooper will throw it to you guys right away and just kind of walk us through your wild weekend and overall the final thoughts about it.
Yeah, I guess we'll start with like the start. I love like the venue. I've never been to Houston before. It was super fun. I liked the park outside. I liked all the space in the pits, and I liked having so many people here. I've never competed in a champs before, but this sure felt really, really competitive. Probably just because there was just one.
Yeah, I've never even though champs were in Detroit, I've never even gotten to see a champs. So this was really, really
awesome.
cool, and it was amazing to see all these teams in person. So
yeah, and arguably like the most competitive championship that we've had in years. Just for the sheer, and Tyler mentioned this as well, but for the sheer fact of the game that we had, as well as it being moved to one championship. But PJ, anything to add before we kind of jump into their notion of how qualification matches went in the line selection?
Yeah, I agree. It was like obviously this was my first time in Houston. I'd never gone down before. Definitely great because
it's hot from what I heard.
Yeah, humid. It wasn't as hot like the humid. It was but it was great. I did like the venue. I think I liked it a bit more than Kobo or whatever Kobo's called now.
Yeah, Huntington Place.
Yeah, I think I did like it a bit more than that. It just seemed to have more space. I was spoiled in that my hotel was attached to the convention center, so that made everything a little bit nicer. But it was a nice venue. I liked it. Overall, seemed to be a lot to do and like a lot of stuff within walking distance and that, which I really liked. Definitely, like I mean, I've been around for a while. When I started, champs were in Atlanta, and I know Tyler's got me beat, but as the old man on
just by
camera,
a little bit.
Yeah, I say, but as the old man
just by
on
2
camera,
locations, it's all right.
Yeah. So I started with back in my day, champs was there was one champs and it was only 4 divisions, and so this definitely had that same energy and like competitiveness that I remember from Atlanta, and then St. Louis when it was still one champs all the way up to like 2016. Just this level of competitiveness was fantastic, and I think a large part of that was going back to one champs and like the fact that it was a bit harder to qualify. They removed some of the award qualifications and stuff like that, which I mean, I know it's a controversial take, but I'm a fan of that. I don't, and it's so I think the competitiveness was amazing, and just it was great to be in One Champs again and see all these people that I haven't, seen in years at this point. But yeah, definitely a great experience. Liked it. My kids had a great time overall, except for Saturday.
Yeah, understandable too, right? So
had a rough exit on Saturday, but other than that, like kids seemed to have a really good time. Everything seemed to go pretty smoothly overall. So I think I had a good time at Champs.
Yeah, and the biggest plus that I've heard from the couple people that I've talked to is it just gave just having the Champs feel back. We've been 2 years without it, and just being able to be in that environment again, and like you said, being around people that we haven't seen in years. Obviously, I unfortunately didn't get to go because I had a professor that was stuck or was being a stickler and wouldn't let me take an exam early. But so Cooper and Izzy, will kind of throw it back to you. Kind of, give me an outlook of once the schedule was released, looking at where you guys were at. I know you had a match with 254 and against 254 that you elected to play defense on them. So I was talking to Anthony about that all weekend as well. But just, give me an outlook on how you thought qualifications went, and then, where you guys were expecting to be taken in the alliance selection. And then, we'll jump in from there.
Yeah. Well, on schedule release, we were pretty happy. We definitely had a solid schedule. So that felt nice. We weren't really happy with our schedule at MSC, but we couldn't have asked for more at Worlds. And even when we had hard matches, I felt that they were always fun matches. Like we played against 254, and that was going to be fun, whether we win or lose. So it just looks like a really fun group of qualification matches. I don't know if Izzy has anything else.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, just getting to be on the field with such high level teams was going to be fun no matter what. And playing quals where we could hit over 100 consistently with our partners was absolutely crazy. And so
yeah, it was a big step up from where we were at, at Rochester and Macomb to, MSC. We started to see it a little. I know DTE was scoring 100 points every now and then, but DTE was insane, and all the divisions were scoring it. But I mean, it seemed like we had matches where, like, I think specifically like 33-10 and 67 had a playoff match where they scored 165 and lost. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what more you can ask for from that. But PJ, anything?
No, yeah, it was just like as I mentioned, the competitiveness was crazy. The average scores, which like you said, we started seeing that at States a bit, especially once you hit like the playoffs at States.
Mm-hmm.
And then going to Worlds, it ramped it up to 1 million. And like I said, I know we set the world unpenalized high score at 189,
right?
89. I think unpenalized it was 185, I think.
Okay.
But and then that got tied later in the event by Citrus in 1706. So like it was just the scores were getting insane. I don't know. I meant to look at like what the average score in every district was, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's 90 plus.
Easy.
And but yeah, no, just great competitiveness, great overall. Like I said, with us, when the schedule came out, we knew our schedule was rough. Like we played against Citrus once, never played with Citrus, never saw the field with 148. Like our schedule was very weird. So, but no, overall match wise was, it was great, competitive, everything you could want in a world championship.
We actually felt the same way about our schedule with what you just said about 148.
Yeah.
We might just be spoiled from being in a district, but like there were so many teams in our field we just never saw.
Yeah.
Right.
Like 118 was on our field, and we wouldn't have known it if you didn't see them in the list. Like,
yeah, it was like at least Citrus we played against, so like at least we were on the field with them, and like you played the one against 254, or then like with them. But it was like 148. Never saw the field with them. I don't think we saw the field with 1706 either, or 3478. Like a lot of the high number teams, and it was just that was the weird thing. Like you said, coming from a district is switching from like when there's only 40 teams and 12 matches, right? You see everybody for the most part, but here 75 teams and only 10 quals matches, the math The math doesn't work that way.
Understandable. So at the end of Friday, you guys were ranked 32 with a 32 with a 7-4 record. So Izzy, we're just overall conversation after quals and where you thought your team was going to end up in the alliance selection. If you thought you might have been a first pick or were expecting a second pick, what was your team's overall outlook on that?
Honestly, I didn't really know what to expect. We were hoping to get picked. I don't think we were expecting to be a first pick at all, because of how far we fell in our last match. We were close to getting ranking points, but due to some failures, we ended up with a 0 ranking point match and dropped 10 ranks or something like that. So, yeah, that pretty much sums it up. We were definitely not expecting what happened to happen.
Yeah. Right. So
I know
Cooper,
Anthony was joking about it.
Anthony and I were joking about it all week, and he's like, "Well, if we just end up with 254, it won't be a problem."
Yeah, Friday he's like, "It's okay. We're just gonna be 16-19, 254's third pick," and then it happened, and he was just like,
"Yeah, we were joking about it all night."
Yeah. So Cooper, let's throw it to you. What was the overall reaction once you guys got picked by 254, and then decide, okay, well, I guess we got to go find the 4-time world champs to start strategizing for elims. Just walk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, that was wild. I was the representative on the field, so I was standing there and like we didn't expect to be a first pick, so I wasn't really worried. But when it was getting like to the back end of the second pick, I was like, oh man, are we gonna fall to a third? And then when they picked us, it was like it felt surreal, just like walking up there to go accept. It was great. And I think one of the things, I don't think we ever asked 254 or 1619 specifically, but we played defense on 254 in one quals match, which is something that we didn't really do before, like in any of our districts or at MSC. And it was a ton of fun, and we think it really like showed some capability. So that was why we wanted to do it, because we knew that we weren't going to be as high in the alliance selection as we were before. So it was fun to be able to sort of change what we do in matches a little bit, mix it up. And yeah, being picked was incredible.
Well, I think it shows the importance too of, you're able to offer both sides, right? You guys were averaging somewhere between, 15, 12, 18, some matches, throughout the weekend, but then also showed that, you're willing to play defense on the 4-time world champs and not be afraid of it. So important to show that. But let's go over kind of the overall thoughts of, the working with 254 in the, in your division. I know that you guys played the second quarters match and then didn't come back out until the finals. So just overall thoughts on that, and then we'll jump into finals 3 after that. So
yeah, the divisional eliminations were like a blur, honestly. It felt like they took 10 minutes.
Yeah, by so fast.
Yeah, the strategy, the first 2 quarterfinal matches, the second one was where you saw us first. We were just like feeling it out. They wanted to get a sense of, how does everybody work together? They wanted to make sure that the strategies that they thought would work were gonna work on the real field. And then the biggest reason they needed 6672 in was for the triple traversal. So pretty much all of divisional elims was just making sure that was working, that it was going to work reliably, because we really needed it for the round robin.
Yeah, and then, as it's been said, throughout the round robin, the reason why 6672 stayed in there is because the first tiebreaker is hanger points. So it was really important that they had the triple traversal and were able to hit that ceiling of 45 points.
Well, yeah, because you were able to guarantee, whoever. I mean, you had more hanger points than any other division, so it was important to be able to, guarantee the that tiebreaker if you needed it, and you ended up needing it. So, one team obviously that's getting shadowed, but the Alliance captain 1619, they're another great robot, and from what I've heard, another great team to work with. So, what was your guys' overall experience with Upper Creek, and just overall thoughts on Upper Creek as a whole working with them?
Yeah, all of our alliance partners were great. Upper Creek was super
Absolutely.
cool. We loved looking at their robot, and they were checking out ours. It was a fun alliance to work with. Their pit's great. We were working out of their pit for elims and round robin, and it was really, really nice. So that was, a small detail, but really cool. But yeah, we loved working with 1619. We loved working with 254 and 6672.
Yeah, it was really nice to have everyone together in our like giant super pit. It was super cool watching even just 1619 and 254, their subsystem checks, their pre-match
Oh, it's
rituals.
insane, probably. I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
even imagine.
Yeah, like everybody knows, 254 does a ton of crazy programming stuff and a ton of crazy mechanical stuff. So that was expected, but 1619 had a lot of software in that robot.
Mhm.
And they were testing it all every time, and it was super cool to see the robot figure out what color is this, where's it going, where's it being stored. It was super awesome.
Yeah, watching them run their pre-match subsystem checks, it would take like 2 or 3 minutes to get through everything because they had to check their vision and their color sensing, things like that. Whereas we just had a couple buttons to press, it would take us 30 or 40
Right.
seconds.
And then one question I have for you guys, I know we talked about it a little bit before pre-stream, but what we know, obviously 6672 was in for the hanger, the triple traversal ranking points. What was the discussion before going into finals? So like, why were they kept in for the first 2 matches? Like, what was the discussion there?
Yeah, so well, for the first match, that alliance was working. And so understandably there was no big desire to change
Don't
it.
change it if it ain't broke, right?
Right. And then that one was close, and that caused a lot of discussion within the alliance. But we did win. So we went with the same one again, and then that one didn't go the way that we had hoped. So then we were like, all right, well, something has to change here. And we weren't the only thing that changed. There was some other stuff as well. But for finals 3, they put us in because like something needed to happen, because the first one was close. If the second one we were fine, the first one would have been a fluke. But the first one being that close and then losing the second one meant that something wasn't working.
Yeah, so you go out match 1, you win by a point. And in a match that, and myself included, you probably shouldn't have won because there was some hanger issues on the other side. And then you go out in match 2 and the margin is larger and you get beat. What was the discussion, between 1619, 254, and Fusion Core and you guys about making the switch to putting you guys in finals 3 and, having not played in what's probably been 3 to 4 hours now, and now getting put in the most important match that you two may ever see in your entire FRC career?
Yeah, it was definitely a big discussion. There wasn't a decision until like right before we were heading out to the field. And I think one of the biggest things that 1619 and 254 were worried about was just making sure that we were ready. And we were keeping up with it the whole round robin. We changed bumpers, we changed batteries every match, even though
That's awesome.
we never used them. But so we were running systems checks pretty much every match. And so once they were confident that we were ready, they said, all right, then this is going to work. And we can try this because we don't have anything left to try. This is finals 3. That was pretty much it. But it was definitely a close call, and it took a while to come to a decision.
Yeah, once they had kind of decided, the drive coaches came over to us and asked us how we were doing, asked
I can't even
if he was
imagine.
ready, and he said, yeah, of course, and then we were on the field. So
yeah, I think I saw somebody, one of the 254 mentors on Chief, they came over to your drive coach. It's Jason, Justin, something with a J, right?
Jason. Yeah, he's in
okay.
chat right now.
It was like came over to Jason. He was like, he came over to ask if you guys were ready, and he said like Jason just ice in his veins, which like that's everything. Like I've reffed enough with you guys. Like yeah, sounds right. Like just sure, just he was ready to go. So
yeah,
go ahead.
I was just saying that I felt as ready as we were saying. Like the robot was ready. I felt super ready. I think Izzy was ready to go, and I'm sure the other members of our drive team were too. So we were excited to get in, and I would say like ice in my veins was the way I felt. It was sort of like, we're going to have to make this work.
Right.
So yeah, it was the last chance. There was, I guess, like the stress kind of went away, which was weird. But
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why, because I know, like, I remember I'm sitting here, you know, and I see you guys walk out with the robot on the field, and me and Anthony are going back and forth, blowing each other's phone up, and I just remember when they go to do the introductions and the camera that's on the field, and they like scroll past your driver station, and Cooper and Izzy are just sitting there like, "Yep, this is about to happen. Like, we're here, we're ready." Like they're like, you guys did not seem nervous, and obviously you have masks on, so it's a little bit hard to tell. But you guys did not seem nervous at all, and you were just ready to, you know, take on the initiative. And obviously it paid off. You know, you've kept the streak alive in Michigan. You're now the reigning world champions, and again, fully deserved. I've been, you know, high on you guys all year, and just, you know, I think it's been a long time coming, especially for this robot to you know, finally take that jump that needed to happen.
Yeah, and I'm going to give the huge shout out to somebody who's not going to get talked about a lot when 175 comes around, but huge shout out to Kim Galea. Just the things she does. She's an amazing person, amazing mentor, amazing teacher, amazing coach. And I know, like, since she's not drive coach, a lot of people aren't going to give her the credit, so I wanted to make sure I gave her a shout out. So yeah, she's great, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's a Woody Flowers winner in Michigan in the next couple years.
Yes, 3175 does not work without Miss Galea.
No way.
Yeah, absolutely, just does not work.
Yeah,
so.
Thank you for doing that, because she's incredible.
I've known, like I said, I've known her and I've known Anthony for a long time, and it's just like seeing her get this was just amazing for me, as like on like a personal level, just knowing the work she's put in to make you guys function.
Yeah, exactly. Any last comments before we go ahead and wrap up and draw for our giveaway?
I'd just say thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
it was really fun. And thanks for, you know, talking to us at events and stuff.
You know, finally got to highlight you guys. You know, you had a great year again, and what a great way to round it out. So we'll go ahead and bring Tyler back on to draw for the big cash from Rev.
Yeah, so $100 Rev gift card once again. The keyword was Ion for their new Ion product coming out. Of course, the Duo as well, too, for their FTC product line. You know, talking to Greg and others at Rev, they are stoked. They are ready to really hop in the market in a huge way never seen before, and I hope many of you are excited for their new products as well. So winner of this is going to be Ion Talic 08. Congratulations. Please make sure you reach out to me with your info so we can get that out. By the way, just a reminder, if you did want to give away in the last couple of weeks, I did hold those until after chance. I'll be sending everything out to the suppliers tomorrow, so you should be getting things hopefully in the next few days as well. But congratulations. Thanks, Reb, and thanks to all of our suppliers for their fantastic giveaways so far this season.
Yep. Thanks again, Tyler. So thank you for tuning in to FRC Roundup. Special thanks to all of those who clicked that follow button or stepped up to help fund with a Twitch subscription or a donation this stream. Your support really helps us continue to make great content. Do not forget, you can watch FRC Roundup archived at youtube.com/first updates now and watch live Mondays after FRC recap during the competition season. Thank you to Izzy and Cooper for coming on. Again, congrats on your world championship. On behalf of our producer Tyler Olds, my co-host PJ, and all fun correspondents, I'm Nick Jr., and thanks for watching. Now that championships have come to a close, I wanted to take the time to thank everybody who tuned into FRC Roundup this season. I really enjoyed putting this together and sharing this discussion with the community. See you next time, same day, same time, where we take a look at what is going on each week on FRC Roundup. Thanks, everyone.
First Updates Now is supported by the Milwaukee School of Engineering. MSOE offers week-long summer camps where high school students get to preview college by living on campus, exploring engineering programs, experimenting in labs, meeting with professors, and participating in fun group activities. Are you ready to experience STEM at MSOE? Visit msoe.edu/summer to learn more and register. Thanks to Stryker Careers for their support in this video. First, alumni and mentors are making Stryker a top priority for their internships and careers. That's because Stryker knows that those in FIRST are the leaders and innovators of tomorrow. If you want to help make the world a better place by creating life-saving medical devices and technology, get started at careers.stryker.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on our new videos. Keep the conversation going and provide your input to our content. Watch our live shows at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. Join our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow and check out Fun FTC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and First Updates Now on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.